Dreamcast Side Project, Case 1, Carrier, sent by Kira. What? Let's try that again, but slower this time. Oh, it's Angelico. Why is that name familiar? Right, this was the name on the Nintendo games instead of the game's name. Bases loaded? Oh, I hated baseball on the Nintendo. I hated it so much. But my brother would play it for hours and somehow had fun. Right, every runner go in the same direction. Shut it off. If I watch it any longer, I'm gonna cry. Back to the Dreamcast.
Carrier.
Why do I get the feeling I'm going to spend a good amount of my time comparing this game to Resident Evil? Let's just go with it. Starting the game with a creepy title shoutout. Carrier comes with a rather protracted mythos. In the future, the Northern Hemisphere is fighting against the Southern Hemisphere, and that eventually leads to a super advanced aircraft carrier. It is also another video game that takes place in 2023. I'll just say it right now, you're watching a very old video. So this carrier disappears after a military operation, a team is dispatched to find them, they disappear, and now a second team is sent to find them. The rescue team is a male and a female. The enemy is obviously flesh-eating zombies. And, oh, the rescue helicopter is shot down and crashes. Jack Ingalls and Jill Valentine get separated, and thus begins the slow investigation looking for survivors and the cause of the lost communication. You know, Carrier is a very clever name, referring to both pathology, viruses and junk, and the ship you're on. The trouble, though, is an aircraft carrier is not a very interesting thing to look at for hours you are intended to play. It's gray. Gray before gray was trendy. Gray because a carrier is predominantly metal and metal is gray. Oh my god, everything is gray! I hope I have established that the game is very difficult to look at. The camera views lend to a control style that's pretty much the same as the original batch of Resident Evils, so it's that second-person shooter style. But the camera can move. Okay, I'll stop doing that. Starting with a pistol and a taser, you work your way through the ship with the evolving goal of finding the previous rescue squad and living crew members. I gotta tell you, these interactions are worth the price of admission.
I'm glad to see that both of you are okay. Is everything okay?
Alright. Nailed it!
Eddie, what's going on?
It seems the localization team didn't want to settle on one nationality of the Northern Hemisphere, so they did every accent. Even some accents that don't exist.
We have a level 1 emergency. Sound the alarm.
And they managed to make them all sound bad. Hey, there are some good bits of sound. For example, the elevators sound like... Most of the progression is finding the objects that will open the next door, as you may expect with survival horror. And even though it's 2023, we are still using 3.5-inch floppy disks. Okay, let's be fair, I still have floppy disks. I don't have a drive to read them anymore, but if the carrier was built on a government contract, it's bound to be overpriced and out of date. Besides, after I watched Elysium, I stopped complaining about anachronisms because it is the all-time winner. The CEO of a manufacturing company says he'll program a virus, which is incorrect on many levels. But if it's the super future, why is he using assembly language for a 32-bit processor? Really? Programming lessons with Storm. The lowest unit in a computer is a bit. There are 8 bits in a byte. So what would you call 4 bits? A nibble. No, seriously. In the Intel x86 world, 16 bits or 2 bytes is a word, 32 bits is a double word or D word, 64 bits is a Q word, and 48 bits is, of course, an F word. I'm being totally serious here! The baddies aren't too much of a challenge. There's plenty of ammo to plow through, but I didn't even go as far as to shooting them with bullets. The taser works just as well. And if I did get hurt, I refuse to do the limp walk. I'd hit the soft reset. The pace is agonizing. That's an important element in Carrier. Momentum. Just like the classic Resident Evils, you have to keep moving. For a game this boring and gray, getting stuck is the worst feeling. Slow progress to no progress beats me up on the inside. I sorta get a headache and a pain in my stomach. This game is an inanimate object and has no relevance to the collective reality, but it's insulting me. I can't let this happen. I will beat this game. I will see the credits.
Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. Yeah. Let's go all the way.
I can't do it. I just can't do it. This game hurts to play. It's not that I can't complete it. Look, this is probably the final boss. I'm right there. But I can't will myself to carry on any further because I know I'm staring down the barrel of a second playthrough with the other character. I won't do it. No! This actually wasn't my first attempt. Back when the Dreamcast project was new, which we can now say was years ago, Carrier was the first game I received. This is as far as I got. Did you catch that? Right, the floor is electrified. Okay, well I'll just shut these panels off. No, that didn't do it. Oh well, I quit. The second attempt, I'm not sure where I found the inspiration, maybe
God himself beamed the instructions into my head.
I decided to look around with the zombie finding visor.
Monkey destruction switch.
Ah, it wasn't the floor. No, it was these invisible metallic snails.
Monkey destruction switch.
That makes total sense! In a game with zombies and giant fungi, invisible snails that arc electricity is a natural conclusion to... I'm glad I made this second attempt. Now I know the only thing stopping me is my own free will.
Remember this analogy? Playing Carrier is a lot like this, except...
But let's slow down a little bit. We need to keep in mind the age of the game in question. There is another perspective.
Hey, it's like Resident Evil, but in full 3D. There's gruesome monsters, tons of characters, and... voiceovers!
Eddie, what's going on?
Damn it, Japan! No, a second-person shooter would not be a game where you control the enemies. Whoever proposed Left 4 Dead is, you are wrong. It is based on the player's visual perspective. If you move the character forward with the forward button, in reference to the character, but the perspective doesn't change, then the perspective is omnipotent and does not belong to the player. Thus, second-person shooter. And if I expand on the same idea, I'm ready to call Rogue Squadron 2 a fourth-person flight simulator, and Pikmin a fifth-person adventure. I'm making all this crap up. I'm solely basing this off of some posters that my Spanish teacher made and referenced in the classroom. First form is yo, and second form is tu. Third form is el and ella, or it could be the form usted. Fourth form is nosotros, or vosotros if you're an elder. Fifth form is ellos, ellas, and ustedes. You would conjugate off of this, and with that you could say funny things like yo miraba ser goody con el diablo. Is that the proper way to say it? I don't know. I refuse to cheat and use the internet. I have dictionaries, Rosetta Stone is right over there, but I'm too busy playing